Getting in breaking news now, the Russian media reporting that Russia will not take part in the inauguration of the new Taliban government. They were called to the ceremony, the Taliban terror cabinet oath taking. We're hearing now that they will not take part. As per Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary to the Russian president, Russia, China, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan and Iran were invited to the inauguration ceremony of the new Afghan government, which is set to take place on the 11th of September. And we are hearing that Russia has decided to skip the Taliban oath taking. It's very, very significant given what Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, said about 24 hours ago. One of the only leaders at BRICS to condemn what's going on in Afghanistan and spell out the terror concerns. He had gone all out about 24 hours ago, and the Russian media now reporting that Russia will not take part in the inauguration. Russia will in no way take part in the inauguration of the Taliban government, is what he's quoted as telling journalists who asked specific questions on Russia's participation in the inauguration. Once again, Russia, China, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan and Iran were invited to the inauguration ceremony of the new Afghanistan government, which takes place on the 11th of September. The development is key given what Vladimir Putin said at the BRICS summit. He spoke last, but he made a very, very powerful message. Once again, repeating what Vladimir Putin has said in his speech. Vladimir Putin has spoken about the terror concerns. He said the entire area was in a geopolitical flux. We have, I think, Major Gaurav Arya joining us on the phone line. Major Gaurav Arya, I think we knew what the Russian position would be once Vladimir Putin made that speech, and even before that, the head of security had met Ajit Doval. They won't be present there strategically. How do you see Russia play a role with India going forward?
See, this is all after General Faiz visited, the head of the ISI, DGISI visited Kabul and met with the Taliban leadership. And this is a bloc that Pakistan has been trying to gather for a very long time. These names are the names of the usual suspects that Pakistan thinks will support Pakistan and support the Afghan Taliban. I'm very sure in the next few days you'll have, other people also, not just forget about the inauguration ceremony. This whole thing that, Russia, Pakistan and China and Iran make a common bloc. This is a figment of the ISI's imagination. I don't think very many countries will turn up for the inauguration because nobody wants to be seen as a terrorist supporter. There could be a junior functionary from the Chinese embassy, because the Chinese embassy is still operative in Kabul, or somebody from Pakistan, but to think that a senior representative would be sent for the inauguration ceremony of the Taliban government, extremely unlikely, extremely unlikely.
Yeah. Thank you, Major Arya, for that. I think Sriram Cholya is also joining us on the phone line. Sriram, Russia will not take part, and I think the Taliban was very eager. They almost announced that all of them would be there. Russia will not be there. There is a lot of unrest also within the Iranian establishment on whether they should actually be present there.
Yeah, I think Russia always was very wary of this whole thing because of the security of the Central Asian republics, the former republics. The Russians still take overall responsibility for the protection of these former, Central Asian republics, and they try to ensure that these countries are safe from this jihadist menace. The problem is that the Islamic movement of Uzbekistan and East Turkestan and other such groups are still quite active inside Afghanistan. And I don't think the spillover can be stopped even by Taliban, because some of these groups are allied with ISIS and with Al-Qaeda. So I think Russians will want, total guarantees of the security of these republics, these former republics. And also, secondly, remember General Atta Noor, Marshal Dostum, and some of the other heavyweights of the former Northern Alliance are all in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. So they are the ones who the Russians will be consulting closely because they have been allies with them. And none of them are confident. In fact, they were hoping that maybe Taliban will create an inclusive interim government, and that did not happen. It just had a token, one Tajik and one Uzbek, and who were not even known. So it's quite clear that this is a very, very dangerous regime, which is not willing to incorporate all the segments of Afghan society or to crack down on terror. So these are the two big issues, right, for Russia or for any other country. Iran also, the Hazaras, there is not a single Shia in the new government in Afghanistan that Taliban has announced. So why will a Shia country like Iran accept this kind of regime? So it's quite clear, as Gaurav was also saying, that only Pakistan and China, essentially, maybe Qatar to an extent, because Qatar has got political links to the Taliban for a long time, and possibly Turkey. We're talking of maybe 3-4 countries that may actually attend or may actually legitimize this, or try to legitimize the regime. And the rest of the world, remember, 193 countries, it's very unlikely that so in a way, the Taliban are repeating the mistakes of the last time they were in power, 96 to 2001. And they are going to also get the cold shoulder like last time from everyone. And we'll have to see what the Chinese do now. If Russia is not willing to recognize and is moving in a different direction, maybe engagement short of recognition, what will China do then? China cannot dissociate itself from Russia either. So China is under pressure. Even at BRICS, all the member countries were trying to bear upon the Chinese that, you should not go it alone. We are all in it together, and we should decide collectively and stabilize the region. So in that sense, now the pressure will mount on China to also take a stand that is more neutral. So I think in that sense, the Pakistanis may end up being totally isolated. They may just have Qatar and Turkey to an extent, and that's it. So it's not looking so great for them. And Taliban thought they could have their cake and eat it too. They could browbeat everybody and promote terror and also get recognition. Well, we are not going to let that happen. No conditions. International community increasingly is going to impose conditions for their behavior and conduct. And only if they act in a civilized way will some kind of aid and recognition, if not recognition, at least engagement, which will enable it to be functional and to be viable economically, will happen. Otherwise, not even that.
Yeah, running out of time, but thank you for speaking to Republic, Sriram.